It's funny how this is staying up because there's a case on it, so I'm putting it on my leg. There's enough friction to make it stay in place. But anyways, I want to talk today about the concept of maximizing and what that actually means because I think most people don't understand. They may have heard stories, but they don't actually know the extreme lengths people go to maximize stuff. So first of all, an example of something that might be more commonly known as hypermiling is where people try to get really high MPG. This came about when Priuses had their, MPG meter on the car. It reads out and see how high it could get. So I've gotten quite high, like 30, 40 on cars that aren't so efficient. But people get like 100. So they do a lot of different things like saving energy. So one thing is Priuses, like hybrid cars, regenerate, but it's not quite the same as generating yourself. So they'll make sure to park their car on an incline. So they'll go to the parking lot, find where it's sloped up, and park their car and let it go all the way up. People also drive extremely slowly, maybe 10 miles an hour on local to get better mileage. But for me personally, maximizing comes into the play when I talk about travel planning. I want to look at all possibilities to get the best travel plans. If you talk about flights, right, there's so many options, so many places you go. How do you put those all together? A computer can't even do it because it doesn't know your preferences. And so for me, the most recent thing, for example, is trying to use my Sweet Night Awards. So Marriott, when you get enough nights, they give you this thing called Sweet Night Awards. It's really silly. So you request special rooms. Not all rooms are available. They're called suite nights, but not all suites are available. And they may not even grant it, but you request it. And I have 5 of them expiring this year, and they can't be extended because they're doing away with it next year. And so the question is, do I go out of my way to stay at places where I could try to use these Sweet Night Awards? He's not even guaranteed, but the possibility of using it is enough. But how do you know what rooms are available in which hotels? You don't actually. Sometimes people may report it online, but most often not, you have to do it yourself. So you booked a reservation, and then you could try to apply to Sweet Night Award and see what rooms it gives you that are available. So I looked at Seoul, I looked at Kuala Lumpur, I looked at all the places you're going to be traveling to. And all the rooms that were nice in Seoul aren't available with the Sweet Night Award certificate. That's a no-go. But that involved me booking 5 separate reservations and then clicking on it. Because you would think booking it and then applying it right away on the app would be easy, and it should be, but the app doesn't work. Can't apply Sweet Night Awards. So to log on your computer, so it's a hassle. And then for Kuala Lumpur, I went through even more hotels because they have like 20 hotels in their area. And the question is, how far out of the way do I go to try to use this? Do I try to leave Kuala Lumpur? Do I rent a car so I could find a usage at a property that may be outside of the city by quite a bit as an hour away? If I found a great property, should I take a taxi there even though it's not in the city center just to experience it, just to have my nice room for the night? I mean, maximizing means looking at every single last option. And it's crazy amount of time it takes. And you would think a robot could do it easily or a computer, but they often can't. And the reason they can't is they may miss stuff. So there's IT Matrix, which is a flight search program that was bought by Google and is now basically decrepit and really slow. But basically, it doesn't find other possibilities because has a limitation on how much search time it has, how much processing power it has. So you may be looking and you think, I could just look through the whole month. But it won't give you the same as if you look through just one day because it doesn't search you as many options when you're looking through the whole month. And it's the same thing when you're looking at flight awards. So the theme is for award searches. There's a lot of aggregator sites, like say Points. You go, you search, you think you've found all the possibilities, but it's just wrong. Like I found it on United, but Points didn't have it. And that's the thing with maximizing. Do you trust this aggregator? Do you trust this search engine versus going to the airline's website yourself and looking for it? Sometimes even the airline's website yourself might be tricking you. They may hide certain awards. How far do you go? Do you call? Does the person saying no mean they don't have it, or they may just be wrong? They may be misinformed. They may be lazy. Maximizing is an awfully difficult thing to do. And the question is, why do we do it? And I think part of it is just your personality. Like Andy Grove, he had his journey through prostate cancer and he went straight to the source. Just because the doctor said this doesn't mean he trusted them. I mean, they have medical school education, they have years of residency training, they have years of actual working experience. But they may not know everything. And he doesn't want to miss that information, that piece of information that may be essential to saving his life. He did his own research. He read the articles himself, he read the books himself. He went and talked to the doctors. He went again and questioned him, saying, "How come you said this? It doesn't make sense to me. Why?" That's maximizing. It's a personality trait, I would say, or a flaw, if you will. But it also does extremely well because you happen to do things that nobody else would do. You don't give up. You don't say, "I've exhausted all possibilities," because in our day and age, it's almost impossible to exhaust all possibilities. And you hear stories of people maximizing or trying extremely hard, and we think of them as crazy. They often make the news coming from some third world country where people are poor. There's a guy who wanted to go home for New Year's. Chinese New Year is a huge holiday. It's the only time of year when most people who are laborers in the big cities can go back home to visit their family. This man had promised to visit his girlfriend, except they had the biggest snowstorm in decades. Trains were shut down, buses, there's no flights. So he walked. He almost died, he wasn't prepared. His legs got injured, but he made it home. Is that stupidity or is that maximizing? I mean, in the US, if you look at the previous recent example of baby formula being hard to find, what do people do? If you have money, it's no big deal, right? There's lots of ways of getting stuff. I actually was in Colorado and asked my friend if she needed some because I saw it there. I mean, in California. But if you don't have money, what do you do? Do you find other ways? Do you make it yourself? When do you give up? I think maximizing is a talent, a skill, a personality, character trait. And the idea is that you don't give up. You keep searching and searching and searching. And eventually I say, okay, let's call it a day. Done enough research. But the idea is, I've done way more than anybody else. That's crazy. Why? Right? And you may think it's about money, but it's not simply about money. You may think about getting a good deal, but it's not simply about getting a good deal. It's about finding something other people can't find. It's about doing something other people can't do. I mean, if I borrow from Shohei Ohtani and his prior coach, who gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, that's of being singular, unique. Being a pitcher and a batter, something nobody has done ever before. Everybody says Babe Ruth, but he really didn't do it that much and that well. But he jumped at this opportunity. He gave up going straight to the Major League Baseball league from Japan. He would have been the first, but that's not that significant. But the first to be a great pitcher and a great batter, now that's amazing and something worth striving for. And that's what those of us maximizers want to do. Yes, I'm wasting time, if you will. There's probably other ways of spending my time better. I could definitely use my time more valuably in terms of making money. But trying to solve this problem, trying to figure out this riddle that nobody can figure out except for me.